Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. I want to give credence to the great soccer player who recently passed, who went by the name of Pelé. Growing up in the 80s, in the hood, we wasn't too familiar with the sport of soccer. The only connection we had with soccer was Pelé, because he was a black man playing soccer, and we saw him as a hero because he was on sports cards. I think he was on the Wheaties box, and we were like, Pelé, what. But soccer wasn't a big sport in the hood in the 80s. There was no soccer at the school. There were no soccer goals. At the park, there were no soccer goals. Although you had soccer balls, but soccer balls were used to play kickball, right? Which is different, where you had, for those who are not familiar with the game of kickball, you have someone at home plate, they kick the ball as far as they could. If someone caught it in the air, you'd be out, or you would run to base, first, second, third, and home plate, you scored, you got a point, right? But there was no technique or form of actually the game of soccer, right? So Edson, which is Edson, Arantes, Arantes, do Nascimento, Nascimento, which is Brazilian Portuguese. If you listen to a show I did previously, I guess about a year and a half ago, on Ganga Zumba, the great Brazilian warrior, he had that fight with the Portuguese, who was trying to enslave the blacks that was in Brazil. So we know that story. Okay, so he died. He was born on the 23rd of October in 1940, and he died on the 29th of December 2022. He was 82 years old. He was known by his nickname Pelé. Portuguese pronunciation was Pelé. He was a Brazilian professional football player who played as a forward, regarded as one of the greatest players of all time and labeled the greatest by FIFA. He was among the most successful and popular sports figures of the 20th century. In 1999, he was named Athlete of the Century by the International Olympic Committee and was included in the Time list of the 100 most important people of the 20th century. In 2000, Pelé was voted World Player of the Century by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics, and was one of the most joint winners of the FIFA Player of the Century. His 1,279 goals in 1,363 games, which included friendlies, is recognized as a Guinness World Record. Pelé. That was interesting. I didn't know. I had no idea. Pelé began playing for Santos at the age of 15 and Brazil national team at 16. During his international career, he won 3 FIFA World Cups, 1958, 1962, and 1970, the only player to do so. He was nicknamed Ori, the King, following the 1958 tournament. Pelé is the joint top goal scorer for Brazil with 77 goals in 92 games. Wow. Wow. That was, I mean, Pele, he was, okay, let's see. He had two siblings. He was the elder of two siblings. Okay. And was named after the American inventor. He was named after Thomas Edison. His parents decided to remove the I and call him Edson. But there was a typo on his birth certificate, leading many documents to show his name as Edison, not Edson, as he was called. He was originally nicknamed Dicko by his family. He received the nickname Pele during his school days, when it is claimed he was given it because of his pronunciation of the name of his favorite player, local Vasco da Gama goalkeeper Bali, which he misspoke. But the more he complained, the more it stuck. Bali, or it could come from Bilal, and it's Pele, I don't know. In his autobiography, Pele stated he had no idea what the name means, nor did his old friends, apart from the assertion that the name is derived from that of Bali and that it is Hebrew for miracle. The word has no known meaning in Portuguese because it could be derived from Bilal. We don't know. Pele grew up in poverty in Bauru in the state of Sao Paulo. He earned extra money by working in tea shops as a servant. Taught to play by his father, he could not afford a proper football and usually played with either a sock stuffed with newspaper and tied with a string or a grapefruit. Stop right there. Dedication. Motivation. He played with a sock stuffed with newspaper, tied with a string, or a grapefruit because he had vision. That means he didn't let anything get in his way to where he couldn't practice, where he couldn't learn, or where he couldn't imagine that he was playing with a real soccer ball, but still getting drills in, still honing in on skills. Wow. He played for several amateur teams in his youth, including Santi de Santibro, Canto do Rio, St. Paulinho, and whatever. Pele led the juniors to a championship. In his mid-teens, he played for an indoor football team called Radium. Indoor football had just became popular in Bauru when Pele began playing it. He was part of the first futsal, which is indoor football competition in the region. Pele and his team won the first championship, and he won several others. According to Pele, the indoor football presented difficult challenges. He said it was a lot quicker than football on the grass, and that players were required to think faster because everyone is close to each other in the pitch. Pele credits futsal for helping him think better on the spot, meaning it had him moving fast. Indoor football playing on turf versus grass. So he took that and used it as an advantage. Brilliant. Let's see. Oh, okay. According to Pele, futsal allowed him to play with adults. When he was about 14 years old, in one of the tournaments he participated in, he was initially considered too young to play, but eventually went on to end up top scorer with 14 or 15 goals. They gave me a lot of confidence, Pele said. I knew then not to be afraid of whatever might come my way. Trial and error, obstacles, hardship, pain. The example of Pele's life is you got to live through it all. You got to go through it. Focus, determination. No, you don't quit, and you accomplish your goals. Meaning, if you hear the story of Pele, and he became to be the world's greatest, that means It's within the individual. Only you yourself can determine when enough is enough, or when you how far you can go, and or if you can't go any further, you determine that. But the goal is out there for you to achieve. It's there. You have to go to it. It's not gonna come to you. Verbal Peak Radio, enjoy your 2023. I just wanted to give you all a tidbit on Pelé because I felt like we had to say something or do something for this great man's life and career and for being a humanitarian. We're out.